What's going on, people? This is your boy, Uncle Dallas. How you feeling today? How things happening? How was your weekend? Mine was amazing. My weekend was just amazing. It was off the chain. My weekend was off the chain. So, yeah. There we go. Are we looking? We looking? Come on. See, what I had to realize, guys, this thing comes on at the yellow. Yeah. This thing comes on at the yellow. It doesn't come on at the red. So, because I think it comes on at the yellow, I think that I am actually not on until it comes on. And when it actually is on for that. So now, today, okay. Today we're going to talk about superpowers, how to be sensitive in the spirit. For those of you that are part of the mentoring group, you should probably you'll get a copy of the notes afterwards. You'll get a copy of these later. But we're going to talk about that. And the reason we're going to talk about that is because a lot of you want to feel like you are led by the Spirit. And you want to feel like the Spirit of God is moving you or guiding you. And it's very simple. Really. My Bible is over there and my wife is here. So this guy. So this. Now we're here. Now we're here. Yeah. And so when I start talking about these things, it's one of the things that I realized that I really needed to deal with was being sensitive to the Spirit. And there are a lot of things that being sensitive to the Spirit. There are a lot of things within that you have to understand. So there are three things, and like I said, for those of you to get it, there are three things that we have here in that. Being sensitive to the Spirit, there's a part of that everybody needs to deal with. So I'm going to go through some of the sensitivity parts and some of the parts of being sensitive in the Spirit. Okay? Now, like I said, if you are a part of the mentoring course, you will get these notes afterward. They will be done. You will get the notes afterwards, and basically the passages, more the passages than anything else. And I'll get those scriptures to you as soon as we finish. So, the first one is Exodus. Now, Exodus is kind of an Old Testament principle that I want you guys to kind of follow. Now remember, we don't go into this thing trying to look at the characters, because I understand the characters give you revelation, but I want you to understand principles more than I want you to understand characters. Okay? Principles more than characters. And the reason I say that is because a lot of times we get caught in the characters in the process of trying to figure out, okay, what was this character thinking? What was he wondering about? All these kind of things. When in actuality, what you really want to know is what made him make it through. How did he make it through? And I got to do one more thing, guys. I apologize. How did he actually make it through? What did he actually do to get to this point in his life? And so when you understand that, you understand that what you're looking for is not so much the principles of what other people have done. What you're actually looking for is how do you get that same thing done. So the first thing you go Exodus 33 and 11. Now, here's where this is interesting. Exodus 33 and 11 says, Moses said see thou sayest unto me, bring me the people. Oh, sorry. 33 and 11, guys. I'm sorry. Did that wrong. Never know. Okay. It says this. Yeah. You know what? I just felt a shift. I felt a shift in my spirit. Let me say this first. One of the things you have to understand as a person that is in any ways human, moving in any area, doing anything, you have to understand something. You are based on spirit. You are not a fleshly person that is controlled by emotions. You're not a mental person that's controlled by passions. You are a spiritual person that's led by your spirit. The key to that is understanding, how do I hear, or how am I sensitive to what I need to be sensitive to in the spirit? And what you have to realize is being sensitive in the spirit is not being outwardly like, okay, quiet, listen, listen, listen. Being sensitive in the spirit is your natural state. It is your actual natural state. Being sensitive in the spirit is who you are organically, who you are originally. It is not something you have to adapt and you have to turn on because you're trying to figure something out or trying to be led at a certain level. It is who you are organically. It is who you are if there's nothing else going on. So what you have to realize is when you want to be sensitive to the spirit, you have to realize that you have to return to who you are. Now, that's going to be large, huge as we begin to grow. As we begin to talk about that, that's going to be very big when you realize you're basically returning to who you are. Now, those of you that follow me understand. Those of you that are a part of the mentoring group, this is going to be something that we're going to get into a little bit deeper. But you're returning to the original state of who you are. Now, when you are looking at your studies and you're in the Bible, there are things that I need you to understand about Bible principle. Bible principle is not an external person trying to tell you how to operate internally. It's a person that's like you telling you what you can do to be like him. Say that again. It's someone like you telling you what you can be, how to be more like him. You got that? I hope everybody wrote that down. If you didn't write that down, you need to get it. It's someone like you telling you how to be more like him. Okay? So when you look at this, you go, okay, how can I be more sensitive to the spirit? Not how can I be more attentive, and follow me here, guys. How can I be more attentive to the letter? How can I be more receptive to the spirit? How can I be more receptive to the spirit? Now I want you to understand that. So there is a story. We won't go into the story. In Exodus, there's a principle that you need to look in Exodus, the 12th chapter, in the 6th verse. I talk about this a lot of times, and people get upset with me because we want to be right spiritually, but as long as that right spiritually makes us feel good, we're okay with that. So check this out. In the verse 6, it says, and he, meaning God, says, hear my words. If there's a prophet that raises up among you, I will make myself known unto him in a vision, and I will speak unto him in a dream. But verse 7, matter of fact, I didn't put verse 7 down. Let me write sure I didn't put verse 7 on my notes. Yes, I did. Good. Yes, I did. Verse 7, my servant is not so, for he is faithful in all mine house. With him I speak mouth to mouth, even apparently, not in dark speeches and similitudes of the Lord shall he hold. Wherefore, then ye should be afraid to speak against my servant Moses. Okay. We have been teaching this thing, and religion has taught it probably. We've been more notorious than any other problem. The wisdom you have to understand. Okay. The wisdom you have to understand is when you are operating at this level, you have to realize that what you're learning how to do is to be in your original state. Now, in this process, he said, if there's a voice or a prophet, which is a voice, if a voice raises up, I will reveal myself to him in a dream or a vision. He said, this is not the case with Moses because Moses is faithful. Now, those of you that want to hear in the spirit, my relationships are crazy. I'm looking for a husband. I'm looking for a wife. I'm looking for a dog. I'm looking for a cat. Whatever you're looking for, the original state of who you are makes it more profitable, and the probabilities increase. Why? Because he has to say something. He has to lead you, but he's not leading you like somebody he doesn't know. He's leading you like somebody he loves. Okay? I want to show you something if I can get this on while I'm talking to you guys. He's leading you like somebody he loves. He's not leading you like somebody that he does. Now, and I need to do this because I have cameras all over the place. I need you to understand this. When you are trying to operate in the spirit, there is something you must understand when it comes to being in the spirit. And the thing that you need to understand when it comes to being in the spirit is I can't say the ecology. I want to say the ecology. The ecology of being in the spirit. Not the ecology, the association of being in the spirit. So I want to show you something. And I'm going to show you this right now. Now, those of you that are not on YouTube, you just have to look at this a little bit later when you get to YouTube. Okay? Yeah, you have to look at this a little bit later when you get to YouTube. Yeah, we'll put it right there. Okay, so check this out. Yeah, okay, so right here, you'll see these three things. You see spirit, soul, mind, soul, and body. Now, what you have to realize when it comes to hearing in the spirit, you have to realize that what God has done is set you up in a system that operates at the highest level possible. So what you have is spirit, and what spirit represents is the source. I have that written down here. What mind represents is the processor. So your mind is a processing unit, the central CPU of your body, of your system. The CPU is your mind. The actual working, or the keyboard and the mouse, is this right here. This is where that is. So that means you are a computer. Before there was a computer, you were a computer. The key to your computer right now, if you took away the power of the computer, you get nothing from the computer. If you took away the source of information from the computer, you get nothing from the computer. See, here's where we have made the challenges, and here's where a lot of us have taken place. We have put ourselves in a position where we think we have everything in our mind. So what happens is we're limited to our externals. And so what we do is become sensitive to the things that address the mental position. So I want to know what I feel. Everybody say, I feel a certain way. I feel, I taste, my taste. All those senses, we give them. And those are the five senses that govern you. But you have a sixth sense. You are a superpower. Yeah, I know it doesn't feel that way, but you have a superpower. The challenge is, because we live in this world where everybody wants to be like everybody else or doesn't want to be like everybody else, your superpower is not operated and people don't teach you about it. You have a sixth sense, and that's the spirit. The spirit is a sixth sense. Now, the spirit is not the sense that is loud like taste. I just taste so good. It's not loud like hearing. Why? Because the sixth sense is the sensitivity that gives you truth and direction. Write that down. It gives you truth and direction. I'll write it down here. That's what the sense is. The spirit is good. Howbeit, when the spirit of truth has come. The principle, it gives you truth and direction. Truth, somebody write that down, and direction. Now, if you understand that, you understand that when you were operating outside of those things, you're not getting truth. You're getting confusion and suggestions. Okay? If you don't have the spirit, you have confusion and every evil work. You have confusion and suggestions. I'm writing that down for you. Suggestions. Write that down. For my mentoring course tomorrow, my class tomorrow, we'll get into that anyway. So somebody write that down. Say, my spirit gives me truth and direction. Somebody write that down. My spirit gives me truth and direction. Why is my husband not there? Why is my wife not there? Why are my children acting crazy? Why? All those things are the answer to that. Your spirit is the answer to that, because your spirit gives you truth and direction. So your answer to what you're looking for and what you're dealing with and what's happening in your life is according to your spirit. Got it? Okay. So now, how do you become more sensitive? First, you have to know that you have a spirit. The first thing you have to know, you have to have a spirit. You have to know who you are. You are not just a bunch of flesh, blood, and eyes and nose and mouth. You are a spirit. That spirit is the power of who you are. Let me get you back to this diagram. The spirit is the power of who you are. So if the spirit is the power of who you are, this system has to work together in order for everything to work like you need it to work. Whoa. This system has to work together. So how does the system work together? It works together like this. Your spirit receives information. So Stuff goes into your hard drive. Stuff comes in through your memory. So the spirit is the internet. This is the best way to explain this. The spirit is the world wide web, but it's not the world wide world. It's the universal wide web. So it's UWW. It's the universal wide web. So what happens is when you want something, your mind begins to Google the spirit. But what has been happening, your mind was Googling the world. It was Googling the sensitivity. Now, it Googles the world. It Googles the web. It says, okay, God, why am I not married? Okay, God, why am I single? Why don't I have money? Why don't I have these things? Then what happens is it sends a signal to your processor, which is your mind. Your mind then puts together a way, shifting it from ones and zeros, and gives it to your body. And your body is not just your physical. It is everything about you. But the difference in the CPU or my computer and you have a anointing around that spirit. How do I say it? Auras? We say auras. You have an anointing around that spirit. And when you have an anointing around that spirit, what you find yourself doing is, what is this? You have an anointing around that spirit. What you find yourself doing is the atmosphere is conducive for what your spirit has offered. You got it? The atmosphere is conducive for what your spirit has offered. So when you start doing this process here, you begin to put yourself in a position where the whole atmosphere is ready. The Bible says that the world groans for the children of light. It's groaning. So what happens is the atmosphere is operating at the point that you have become who you are. Does it make sense? I hope it does make sense. So what you have to realize is the whole system. What's happening with most people? Most people are letting the processor give signal to the operator. What is it? The operator? Yeah, operator. Most of them are letting the operator have power over the processor. That's not the case. What happens in your world does not determine how you process information. Please hear me. I'm trying to help you guys. What happens in your world does not determine how you process information. Okay? Example. You want a husband. You've gotten divorced. You've had bad husbands. You have kids. You have all those things. You have 4 kids. You have all this stuff going on. And so what you're doing is you're taking the operation to determine the direction of the processor. Your processor is your mind. So what happens, you go logic, reason, you go all these ways and go, this doesn't make sense. Why? Because the processor can only utilize, your mind can only utilize the information that it is accumulated. It does not create new information. It does not originate information. Your spirit originates information. So when you're going, I've never seen $1 million. My mother ain't never had it. My dad's never had it. It's never been in my family. So apparently it can't happen. But what happens in your spirit, when your spirit connects to the universal world web, it says, here's how you can get what you never had. Here's how you can get what you've never had. Here's where everybody's having the challenge. We're trying to get stuff that we've never had by using stuff we've already have. We're trying to get stuff that we've never had by using stuff that we already have. For example, you have a 1-carat diamond ring, but you're trying to sell it for 2-carat diamond ring prices. That's what's happening. Instead of going, okay, where do I want to be? So, first of all, you have to identify who you are, what's available, what can happen, what cannot happen. These things open up your spirit to a larger amount of information. Okay? I'm talking to somebody the other day, and I said, well, I looked at when I studied quantum physics, I studied energy. When I studied Christianity, I studied spirit. So they are both the same thing, just interpreted by different things, because the same thing in the spirit has power that the energy, same thing in the energy has the same thing. So I don't try to limit it. My study has always been spirituality through God. Not through the energy, through God. So that's why I use the terminologies I use. We're big on those things. So here's the deal. So when you understand that, you understand who I am. Now, how do we take part 1? Part 1 For those of you that are not a part of the mentoring class, we're going to get into the rest of it later. Part 1 is what's available to you. Go back to my little thing. All you guys here, if you can go to YouTube, you can see my diagrams. I'll make sure that you can see the diagrams. So if you go to YouTube, if you go to YouTube, you can see the diagrams that I'm using right now. And I'm just going to put this up here. If you go to youtube.com/higher talk, you can see this stuff. Okay, YouTube/higher talk. Yeah. Okay, now, if you go to that address, you can see what we're talking about right now. All right, if you go to that address. Something is tripping about Instagram anyway. Okay, so when you understand, you have to know what's available to you. So I apologize, guys. You have to know what's available to you. What's available to you? If I have a cup, what can I put in? I can put juice in here, soup in here, coffee in here. Now, when I know what's available to me, I know the type of access I need. So this thing will hold juice, coffee, rice, anything that'll fit in the cup, it'll hold it. Now, everything that fits in the cup is not beneficial to me, but everything that fits in the cup will hold, the cup will supply. Got it? Okay, so follow me here. Follow me what I'm about to tell you. So now what you have to understand is what's available to you. Now, why do you want to know what's available to you? Because it lets you know the type of information you should allow into your spirit. Okay, number 1. You have the capabilities of putting structure to your day, meaning you can know your day. You can know your day. That's why the scripture says this. He said this. This is the principle that you got to follow. He said, hear my words. If there is a prophet among you, a voice. Now, he's speaking of a limited access as a prophet. I'm speaking to an unlimited access as a voice. If God has a voice in you, which he does, he will reveal himself. He will speak to you in a dream or a vision. Now, that means that voice that's inside of you is speaking to you right now. At the moment that we went from Matthew 1 on, it's speaking to you right now. Your spirit has been speaking to you for years. The challenge that you've had is the comparative thinking. So when your spirit is speaking to you, you're wondering, is your spirit speaking to you in comparison to what everything else does to speak to you? In comparison to your hurts, your disappointments. So it is speaking to you. But what's available to you? Anything that's ever happened can happen. The reason I say what I say, the reason I do what I do, is not so you'll think I'm better than you, so you'll know that's access to you. Whatever has happened to me can happen to you. Okay? So not to say I'm better, I'm giving you access. Y'all follow me? Not access to my stuff. You get your own junk, but I'm telling you that it's possible. Okay, so some years ago, and I don't want to go to the numbers of years because I can't remember the number of years right now. Some years ago, when I was at a going to church at the church, I would get these really bad headaches, and it felt like somebody was taking a fork and tearing down the side of my face. And not that there weren't headaches on the side; they were just on this side of the face. I mean, just terrible, terrible, terrible headaches. And at the time, I was preaching, and I was working for MCI at the time. No, Sprint. I was working for MCI or Sprint, one of them. And so I have health insurance. I go to the doctor. When I go to the doctor says to me, we know what's the problem with your head. I said, okay, great. What do I do? He said, you have an infection. I said, okay. What's the infection? He said, the infection is eating back into your nasal passages. What? I don't know. It's something aggressive. It's eating back into your nasal passages. I said, what's the pain? He said, that's the pain of it eating back into your nasal passages. We have to stop it. I said, how do you stop it? They said, we need antibiotics. What did he say? Antibiotics. They said, we need antibiotics. And he gave me 3 other pills to take. One was a muscle relaxer, and the other one was a steroid. And he said, you have to take these pills. I said, how long? He said, till it kills or stops the infection. And I go, okay, cool. I go back and I'm realizing I mean, I am done, guy. I can barely open my eyes. I can't lift my head. It is slowly, and I feel it like it's tearing back into my mouth. And I sat down and I said, listen, the one thing I never want to do is become addicted to drugs. And I was real big on health and eating well. We were raised eating vegetables. We were not raised eating a lot of junk. My father bought vegetables and fruits. So we like vegetables and fruits. My sister and I like vegetables and fruits. So I say to God, God, what am I going to do? He said, I'm going to heal you. I said, okay, cool. What do I do? He said, don't take the pills. I said, okay, Father, I'm not going to take the pills. I'm not going to try to take the pill. Snow, give me a call. I'm not going to take the pills. I'm not going to take the pills. Guess what happened the next week? The next week, my head hurt worse than it ever hurt before for 2 days. I mean, oh my God, it hurt more than I ever hurt before. And I kept looking toward the pills and go, I just take one pill. One pill. I got up on the third day, no more pain. I've never had pain since. Never had pain since. Why? That's possible. That's possible. I had a pain in my stomach. The doctor said there's something in your blood that seems to try to poison your blood. And I said, what do we need to do? They said we need to give you a blood transfusion. And I'm like, I don't know anything about blood transfusion. So I go back to my pastor and I go, what is a blood transfusion? I think they were in the medical industry. What is a blood transfusion? They go, a blood transfusion is when they do this and they take all your blood out and put all your blood back in. I said, is that dangerous? Yeah, if the blood's not clean. And I said, well, I don't want to do that. My pastor comes up to me and says, okay, and he touches my head, and I felt like my blood was burning. I felt like something that put hot sauce in the blood. I could feel it through all my veins. I go back to the doctor, and the doctor says, I don't know what you did, but it's gone. Now, why am I saying that? Healing is available from the information of your spirit. It's available. Healing is available from the information of your spirit. Are you hearing me? So when you understand that, you understand now information that comes into your spirit that you feel in your spirit, that information it can take root. You can have it. But what you have to do is when the information come in, you have to introduce it to your atmosphere. And I keep talking about introducing things to your atmosphere because your atmosphere is waiting for something to take root. So introduce it to your atmosphere. My wife, love at first sight. I remember 2 years before I got married, I told my friends, I said, I'm going to be married in 2013. They go, who you marry? I said, I have no idea who I'm going to marry. I introduced that to my atmosphere. I didn't pray about it every day, but what I did do is I started getting myself together, going, okay, what things are wrong with me? What things am I attracting? Who are all the women that I've ever attracted to my life? Why did I attract them? And I start to get to the point. So I'm moving out every obstacle, hear me, every obstacle that will stop me from getting what I'm believing and what I'm praying for. You follow me? Now, because I don't speak affirmations, I speak truth. I will be married 2013. I walk into a conference I was doing. When I walked into the conference I was doing, the young lady that I'm married to was in the conference, and I said, that's my wife. I'm marrying her. And I married her. So you're going, why don't I have a husband? Have you moved all the obstacles out of the way? Have you moved all the stuff out of your way that stop you from hearing? It's possible for God to send you love at first sight. I'm giving you possibilities, guys. I'm giving you the information. Houses, cars, land, all of that stuff is possible. But what you have to hear, first thing I told you, I said the moment I stopped taking those drugs for that nasal infection was the moment that the pain intensified. Why? Because your flesh, your carnality, your atmosphere, what makes sense, logic, common sense, doesn't want to let you go. It doesn't want to let you go. Your religion doesn't want to let you go. Your church doesn't want to let you go. Why? Everybody knows that you are powerful. So what I have to do is that if I keep you on my side, serving what I want you to serve as powerful, you will never be as powerful as you possibly could. You follow me? It even says, where 2 or 3 are gathered in my name, there I am in the midst of them. So you are powerful. The challenge that you're having when it comes to your power is nobody is igniting your power. They're using your power. Have you ever wondered why a guy will come, and for you ladies, a guy will come, he'll take you out late at night, or he won't take you out at all, he just come over to your house? He's siphoning, he's siphoning spiritual, okay, I'm going to get in so much trouble. He's siphoning spiritual and sexual power from you. You don't know that, ladies. Why? Because you just got an itch, and I need some. No, he's siphoning power from you. Why? You are the source of spiritual power. He's siphoning power from you. And what you don't know is that in he's siphoning the power from you, what he's leaving with you is the submission to the power. That's deep. We'll talk about that. All you couples coming to power couple. Portia, are you and your husband coming to power couple? He's siphoning power from you. And while he's siphoning power from you, you're wondering why I draw the same person. You're wondering why all these things are happening. Because he's pulling you out of spiritual and putting you in carnal. Now you are becoming addicted and choosed, and you feel like now I have to have something. Now, I'm going to tell you guys a secret that most of you don't know. When I got married, I was a virgin. I'd never been with a woman before in my entire life when I got married. Not this time, the first time. I was like, dang, that's been... Really? Are you okay? That's been like 80 years. No, first marriage. Jeez, y'all so silly. And so when I got to, there came a certain point where sex was not a big deal to me. I'm telling you, there came a point where sex was not a big deal for me. I wasn't looking for it or not looking for it. Why? Because I'd never been in the position where that became a draw, an attraction, because it was never there. So I didn't spend my time going, my father would just, he taught us so much about business and life. You didn't sit there and think about that. Now, did I think women were pretty? I love women. I had 6 sisters though. So my desire to think a woman is pretty, just look at my sister. My sisters are pretty. So that wasn't a big deal to me. You follow me? So what happened was the moment that I entered into marriage and I entered into that level, that thing I drew energy, I drew power, and I began to now put that in perspective. What you have to realize is there are things that you've done in your life that are obstructing the spiritual power. And so until you know you can be powerful in those areas, you can't hear clearly. Because if I tell you right now that everybody that is listening to me and all over the different, there's Instagram, there's TikTok, there's YouTube, there's Facebook. I think I have Facebook coming somewhere. All these areas, if I told you you can have as much money as you want, much life as you want, all these things that you wanted, if I told you that was available to you, yes, I do have it it's on Facebook too. If I told you that it's available to you, most of you would look at me like I'm crazy. Why? Because you've never seen $1 million. And what mechanism do I need to get $1 million? Why? Because your processor starts going, yes, we can do it, but how do we get it? Yes, we can do it, but how do we get it? When your spirit says, I can send you a dog with a bag of money in your mouth, and you can have that. So I say that you can be healed. I say that you can be healed of cancer. You can be healed. You go, yeah, but how can I do it? My doctor said this, because the authority that you have, which is I'm going to talk about on part 2, who's the authority of information? The authorities that you have are based in this system. They're based on this atmosphere. Who are you listening to? It's based on the atmosphere you're in. But if it's based on the spirit, all things are possible. There's nothing impossible. Part 2. I got to make sure I pay part 2 because I'll forget that. Part 2. You follow me? So if that's the case, what you'll realize is, how do I get to this first step? I begin to stop listening to every voice that tries to speak to me and start authoring voices, originating voices. Stop listening to lies and start speaking the truth. Somebody write that down. I will stop listening to lies and I will start speaking the truth. Somebody write that down. I will stop listening to lies and I will start listening to the truth. Everybody needs to write that down. You need to say that to yourself. I will stop listening to lies. What's a lie? I can't be healed. What's a lie? I'll be broke all my life. What's a lie? What's a lie? I will never be married. What's a lie? I will die by myself. What's a lie? Stop listening to lies and open yourself up to the truth. That means that you have to have the power to cast down every high thing that exalts itself against the knowledge that comes to your spirit. Stop listening to lies. Now, here's the challenge that you're going to have. There comes the step 3 is the movement. I will say it. Nobody's writing it. Y'all afraid to say it? Y'all afraid to say I'm going to stop listening to lies and I'm going to start listening to speaking the truth? Stop listening to lies and I'm going to start speaking the truth. You follow me? Why? Because speaking affirmation doesn't mean you speak the truth. Speaking the truth says, I'm getting up and going out. I'm going outside. You're not going, one day I'm going to go outside. I'm going to go outside. I see myself going outside. Get up, go outside. Speak the truth. Stop listening to lies and speak the truth. What is the truth? The truth is not limited by your circumstances. The truth is not limited by your situation. The truth is only limited by the fact that you're willing to do it and believe it. I will stop listening to lies. What's a lie? You're going to die this way. No. What's a lie? You can't. No. I will be married. Now, when you begin to speak the truth, there comes an alternate conflict to the truth. Hear me very carefully. Anytime you speak the truth, there comes a direct conflict against the truth. Why? You have to be strong enough to hold the truth. So what has to happen is the moment that I said I'm not taking these drugs, all of a sudden, everything that wants me to take the drugs has to be taken. Why? It has to attack me. Why? Because I've got to be able to say when something says no, I still speak the truth. For 3 days, pain in my head. I'm looking at the drugs. 3 days. But I refuse to let go of the fact I know he showed me being healed. My spirit said, do not take it. Not my logic, not my friends who think they got gifts. My spirit spoke directly to me and said, you don't need to take this. I am going to heal you. And he did. Now, that's more than 15 years ago. I'm walking down the steps about a couple years ago. And I twisted my knee, spoke to my knee healed, knee stopped hurting automatically. Back bothering me this morning, said back stopped hurting, stopped hurting automatically. Why? Because I stopped listening to lies. My back is saying, oh, it's hurt, you got something. No, I don't. There's nothing wrong with me because I'm spiritual. Spiritually, there is no pain. Spiritually, there is no hurt. Spiritually, there is nothing that can get in there and make my back don't hurt in the spirit. It doesn't happen. So when something happens to me and it does not operate according to my spirit, I don't listen to it. Now, is there going to be conflict? Yes, there's going to be always conflict. And the reason there's going to be conflict is because you have lived the lie for so long that the lie has become normal to you. You know, lying is easy for us. Lying is normal for us. We'll tell a lie just like that without even thinking twice. Why? Because the lie has become normal to us. They say normal existence. It's a normal part of us telling a lie. So listening to a lie is just as easy. You follow me? But the truth of the matter is you're healthy, wealthy, and wise. 3 John says it this way: I wish above all that I would prosper, money, be in health, body, as thy soul prosper, spirit, mind. So you have those capabilities, but you have to get the obstructions out of your way. Listen, ladies, stop listening to men that are telling you a whole bunch of lies, but there's no action. The moment that happens, you go, nope, we don't go no further. Oh, but I need him. No, you don't need him. He needs you. Men, stop listening to women that want to promote their physical over their spiritual. They want to show you the big butt, show you the big breast, show you the long hair, whatever their little attribute is. And then utilize that to bring you in. Stop listening to the lie because that doesn't make her a wife material. As a matter of fact, cooking doesn't make her wife material either. What makes her wife material is she carries the power and the presence of God in the spirit. So if you don't see that, bruh, listen, you want to date? Date. Don't have a problem with that. Go out. Don't have a problem with that. But when you begin to move into areas that are becoming more permanent, you need to get connected to the spirit of your life, your spirit. And when you get connected to your spirit, then from that point on, you can begin to move into other levels. You can begin to move into other directions. Does it make sense? You can begin to move into these other situations and other circumstances. Does that make sense? Why? Because you are not limited by the carnal or the atmosphere that you're living in. You're only limited by believing and speaking the truth. That is the only thing that limits you. That's it. That's it. Why don't you have the relationship that you want? Somebody has lied to you, or your situation has lied to you, and you'd rather believe the lie than the truth. Some things you have to let go of. It's very difficult because a lot of us are dealing with situations that we go, oh my God, I don't see any men around here. Move. Go someplace else. I don't want to go by myself. You got to get all those things out of you. You got your fears, your things that you lie to yourself in. You got to let all that stuff go. You got to get all that stuff out of your mind. That's why I say you have to know who you are spiritually. My core, when we're going to this week, this month, we're going to talk about collision course. That's what, I don't see if I have my notes here. Yeah, we're going to talk about collision course this week. I don't have my notes. I look, you saw I reached outside of that. I don't have my notes, but this month, the mentoring classes, we're going to talk about collision course and how to collide and to push the hindrances back out of your life. I'm just giving this thing something real quick for you guys. So in the key that you have to understand, you can't let fear, you can't let disappointment, you can't let what happened in your past, you can't let any of those things stop you. Why? Number one, understand this very carefully. Fear, I love people to say fear, false evidence appearing real. But I'm going to do a quick test. I'm going to do a quick test. A quick test. Let's see the first one that can tell me what is the opposite to fear. Now we got Facebook, we got TikTok, we got Instagram, and we got YouTube. Who's the first one that can tell me the opposite to fear? One word. Now, while you're doing, I'm waiting for everybody. I'm looking. Somebody said faith. Somebody said love. What do you got over here, YouTube? What do y'all got over here? What you got, Portia? Faith, love. Now, I'm going to give you the answer to it. When if anybody gets it right, I'm going to give an answer to it. Confidence, rejection. Truth is close. Truth is close. Faith, I see faith in land. Truth is close. Truth is close. Faith is close. Would you like to know the opposite of fear? Everybody write this down. They can write on their thing. Information. The opposite of fear is information. The reason that you fear is there a lack of understanding of what you fear. And if it keeps you limited in your information, you will never grow beyond it, because in that information, you have fear. People that don't want to do certain things don't know certain things. My wife and I are scuba divers. When we dived in the water for the first time, the only thing we were afraid of was sharks. Sharks. So fear was gripping us while we were underwater. The reason that fear gripped us, and Monica, bravery was a good one. Bravery is a good one. I can even say information and the bravery to hear it, to learn it. Information and the bravery to learn it. That's the opposite of faith. But I said one word. Information is the opposite of fear. Why? Most of us don't know what we don't know, so we fear it. Most of us don't know what we don't know, so we fear it. So when I'm talking to these people, I said, wow, you need to come and scuba dive. They go, no, everybody I know, especially my black friends. Oh my God, what about sharks? Now, so what I learned when I got to this particular place we went diving, they don't have sharks. He goes, yes, we do. I said, you don't? I said, yes, y'all do. He said, no. There's a fish called the lionfish, which has no natural predators. The only predator it has is a shark. But the sharks aren't around. So the lionfish have overrun and they're killing the wildlife. So now they've opened season on lionfish so they can kill the lionfish so they can maintain the ecosystem of the water. Everything. So my wife and I, because of that, we begin to study sharks, realizing that there are only two aggressive sharks in the shark kingdom of thousands of different types of sharks. We learned that there's certain angles that sharks can't bite from. So all the things we learned about the information gave us power over the thing we feared. Information is the opposite of fear, not faith. You can believe all you want and faith, but you don't know what to be faith against. The shark's not going to get me. The shark's not going to get me. You're looking at the shark, he's not going to get me. You're not going to get in the water. But if you know everything about that water and realize that for a 14-mile square span, there are no sharks, period. You understand everything you need to know is information. That is why the most powerful business in the world, the business that makes more money, you want a business that makes more money than any business in the world, is information. It's not oil, it's not stocks, it's not crypto, it's information. Information is the highest form of money that you can make, because information is books, is tapes, is CDs, is people, is information is the highest thing. So if you are afraid of something, learn the weakness of that thing. That's what men are good at. Ladies, we learn your weakness. We learn that you have daddy issues. We learn that. Why? Because that in turn gives us power. So when you are now hindered by fear, you need the information and the bravery. Who said bravery? Somebody said bravery. I want to use that. Monica. The bravery that Monica spoke about, and that's brave enough to take the information and move into a new direction. Brave enough to take the information and move into a new direction. If I say healing, people are afraid, oh, no, I can't get healed. Healing is a direction. Everything I'm telling you is possible, because if it happened to me, not to something or somebody I heard it from, it happened to me. If it happened to me, it can happen to you. Love at first sight can happen to you. You can be blessed with money. You can be blessed with cars. You can be blessed with healing. You can get through your challenges. You can overcome the pain. All these things will happen to you. All you need to do is have the information necessary. I'm giving you information now to stop believing the lie and speak the truth. You are not at the end. Your age means nothing. I said this the other day. I said, find the oldest, go and Google the oldest person in the world. Subtract 10 years from their lives and you can live that long. Find the oldest person in the world. Subtract 10 years from that number, and that's how long you can live. 10 years, and that's how long you can live. You follow me? Why? Because when you understand that, you understand that they've done it, now you can do it. You can hear in the spirit, guys. Some of you have called it intuition. You could be somewhere and your whole body just feels like, I think we need to leave. That's your spirit. Your brain doesn't do that. Your brain only reminds you of things that I already have. But that whole thing's like, man, I just really think we don't need to be here. Something's not right about this. Because God doesn't give you fear. He doesn't give you fear. He gives you information and peace. He gives you peace and information. Like, man, I think we need to leave here. Why? Let's just go. That is the initial states of hearing your spirit. That's the initial states of hearing your spirit. Now, that's part one. Today is Monday. Wednesday, we're going to talk about part two. We're going to get into part two of this thing. That's part one. So I appreciate you for YouTube, my YouTube and my Facebook people. You're going to get off the camera. My Instagram and my TikTok people, you guys can remain because I'm going to answer some of your questions. But today is get the obstructions out of there, get the fear out of there, and begin to leave. Now, what you do is you begin to meditate. So, Father, I thank you right now for the power to overrun and to overcome those things that try to hinder them. I thank you that you will open up their hearts and their minds to receive what you have for their spirit. not with logic, not with religion, not with church, not with people, what you have for their spirit. And they will open up their minds and be aware of you. Speak clearly. Speak clearly. Make sense of them. It is, God, you are not a person that will give them mysteries. You will make yourself clear because you love them, and you will give them all the information necessary so that they can live that life. So I thank you, all my YouTube people. Make sure you subscribe. Share this video. There are people that need to hear this. Share this video with those around. Sit down and have talks about the video. Make sure you put the like and hit the bell so that when we're here Wednesday, that you'll be here, or those times when I'm through. If you are part of the mentoring course, make sure that you have the right text number and the right email there, because I've emailed and I text already. Everybody should have that. There was almost 100 and something people that I emailed and I text this morning. So if your information is not correct, if you did not get a text from me and you're a part of the mentoring group, if you did not get an email from me and you're part of the mentoring group, you want to make sure that your email and your phone number are correct. All right. I thank you guys very much. I thank you guys for Facebook. I appreciate you for listening. Again, I love you guys. This is Uncle Dallas. I'm out. Peace.